Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support. And also, the Search for the Ancient Bauble Kickstarter has launched, so make sure you go check that out. The Kickstarter campaign will last for 30 days, and after that, the playmat will no longer be available for purchase. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. So with the recent Twitch stream from Wizards on the Summer of Legend, we not only got some exciting spoilers, but we also got some exciting details about upcoming sets. Now, I've already tackled some episodes on a few of the spoilers, such as the Dragon Queen Tiamat, which, yeah, is pretty fantastic, so if you're a fan of Dragon Tribal, make sure you check her out. Or how about a game-ending sword that you can get down on turn 1? And how about the Enchantment Saga land that you can use to tutor up Sol Ring directly into play? Yeah, that's probably the weirdest out of all of them. Anyways, on this episode, I'm going to be talking about more exciting spoilers from Modern Horizons 2 and Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, and I'm also going to be talking about the schedule and when you can expect more exciting previews and spoilers to be coming. So, with all that said, let's jump into it. So, Modern Horizons 2 is the follow-up to the very successful Modern Horizons, which came out back in 2019. And much like the original Modern Horizons, this set also skips Standard and brings its cards right into Modern and other Eternal formats like Commander. So because of that, the power level of these cards is incredibly high. We got a lot of incredibly powerful cards and overpowered commanders in the original, and I expect a lot more in this one as well. Now first, before we get into any more spoilers for Modern Horizons 2, let's talk about the schedule. On May 20th, Weekly MTG is going to have some reveals from the set. On May 24th, official preview season begins. On June 2nd, full card image galleries will be up. And the very next day, Modern Horizons 2 will be available on Magic Online. On June 11th through 13th, webcam pre-release play will be through Spell Table Beta. And then on June 11th through 17th, pre-release week is going to be happening, including in-store play where it's available. And finally, June 18th is going to be the worldwide release of Modern Horizons in paper. So to me, the most important day on this schedule that I need to take note of is May 24th, because that is the day that I'm going to start losing a lot of sleep. Spoiler season is a very exciting time, and I love doing quick takes on the cards, but I love it a bit too much sometimes. So during that time, I'll be depending heavily on my coffee. Regardless, make sure that you're staying tuned to this channel around that time for the spoiler season quick takes. Now, aside from the schedule, let's talk about some spoilers that we've actually gotten from this set already. And let's start off with a really exciting one with Brainstone. Brainstone is an artifact for 1, and it has pay 2 and tap and sacrifice it, draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Now, just a quick note before we get further into this card, yes, I have included both versions of the card on the left and the right. On the left is going to be your standard version, and on the right is going to be the old border version. Apparently, a lot of people, including myself, really enjoyed the old border versions that were brought back in Time Spiral Remastered, so they're bringing it back again. Regardless, what this card actually does can sound very familiar to you. And of course, even the name hints at it as well, because this card is a callback to Brainstorm. Brainstorm is an instant for a blue that says, draw 3 cards and put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. So essentially, it does the exact same thing, but for a blue and an instant speed instead of it being on an artifact. Now, Brainstorm is an incredibly powerful card in certain formats to the point that it's even restricted in Vintage. And in a format like Commander, it's an incredibly popular card. As you can see, in terms of percentage includes in possible decks, it's right up there with Eternal Witness and Rhystic Study. Now, until this point, obviously the Brainstorm type effect has been limited to blue. So if your commander didn't have blue in their color identity, unfortunately you couldn't use it. But now with this artifact version of it, you can. Or at least I should say you can in a way. Obviously it's not exactly the same. Instead of just paying a blue mana instant speed, you have to pay 3 mana overall. That being said, it being an artifact can benefit you in a lot of different ways. There are certain commanders that can recur this or get additional benefits just for it being an artifact. Now, will this see anywhere near as much play as the original Brainstorm? I highly doubt it. But that doesn't mean that it's not an exciting card that's going to see a lot of play and really help out certain decks. Again, the Brainstorm type effect has been pretty much restricted to blue, and adding this in can be fantastic for a lot of commanders. Now, of course, artifact-centric commanders like Urza or Joyra can really utilize a card like this. Urza does a lot of things, but most notably he has tap an untapped artifact you control, add blue. So essentially to Urza, this is a 1-mana mana rock that you can then use as a Brainstorm when you need to. And then Joyra says whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card, and yes, artifacts are historic. So to Joyra, this is a 1-mana cantrip that again you can use as a Brainstorm. But a different kind of commander that I really want to call out is one like Vivictus Asmati. Vivictus Asmati the Dire is a 6/6 Elder Dragon with flying, and whenever it attacks, for each player choose target permanent that player controls. Those players sacrifice those permanents. Each player sacrifices a permanent this way, reveals the top card of their library, then puts it onto the battlefield if it's a permanent card. So Vivictus really cares about what's on top of its library. And because this commander is Jund, unfortunately doesn't have access to Brainstorm. But thanks to Brainstone, it basically does. So now with Vivictus Asmati, if you've got a very powerful permanent in your hand, you can use Brainstone to Brainstorm and get that on top. So commanders like Vivictus Asmati that really care about the top of their library can really utilize a card like this. But now let's move away from Brainstone and onto another card with a callback with Diamond Lion. And actually someone pointed out that the artist for this is Howard Lyon, and well done, that was pretty funny. And also Howard, you did a fantastic job on this piece. Now, Diamond Lion is a 2/2 artifact creature cat for 2. It has tap, discard your hand, sacrifice Diamond Lion, add 3 mana of any one color, activate only as an instant. Now this might sound familiar to you because again, like I said, this is a callback to another card. And that would be the very expensive, very sought after, and very much on the reserve list, Lion's Eye Diamond. It's an artifact that costs 0 that essentially does the exact same thing. Now, obviously, Lion's Eye Diamond is more powerful because, yeah, it's not on a creature and you don't have to tap it. And it costs 0 instead of 2. There's a lot of reasons. Regardless, Lion's Eye Diamond is a $575 card. And as you can see, like Brainstorm, it is also restricted in Vintage. So yeah, this thing is pretty pricey. Now, just because Diamond Lion is not anywhere near as good as Lion's Eye Diamond, does that make it bad? Absolutely not. There are plenty of decks that can utilize a card like this, and like Lion's Eye Diamond, I'm sure there are plenty of ways to combo with it as well. Now, when it comes to commanders that can probably utilize this, you're looking for a couple of factors. First off, you're probably looking for a commander that cares about artifacts and doesn't mind or actually wants to lose its hand. So you're going to have a way to utilize the mana that it makes elsewhere. Also, a commander that can utilize this multiple times is going to get a lot of value out of it. So just off the top of my head, a couple of commanders that came to mind are Osgir, Emry, and Teshar. Osgir is a new commander from the Strixhaven precons, and it's a fantastic one. With Osgir, you can pay X and tap him to exile an artifact card with mana value X from your graveyard and create 2 tokens that are copies of the exiled card, activate only as a sorcery. So first off, Osgir wants artifacts in your graveyard and it can make copies of them. So discarding your hand probably isn't going to be all that big of a deal, especially since you can generate a lot of value with Osgir and other artifacts. And not only is it not a big deal, but it can also give you more artifacts in your graveyard to get back out, including 2 copies of the lion itself. Next up, there's Emry, who mills you and wants to get artifacts into your graveyard, and you can tap her to choose target artifact card in your graveyard and cast it this turn. So discarding your hand is not a big deal at all, and yes, you can recur the lion as well. And then Teshar has, whenever you cast a historic spell, return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Teshar can be a very powerful artifact commander. And again, although you have to discard your hand for the lion, Teshar decks have plenty of ways to generate card advantage in other ways. So again, discarding your hand and getting creatures in your graveyard can be a good thing, and you can keep getting that lion back again and again and again. Now, in comparison to Brainstone, Diamond Lion definitely is going to see anywhere near as much play, in my opinion. But it can still be an incredibly impactful card for the right deck. And I'm really excited to see what other cards are going to be remade and put into this set as well. They've already shown that they're willing to do some pretty out there things again with that Enchantment Saga land, so let's see what happens. Now, 2 more things really quick before we jump onto the next set. A note out there for you Modern players, Counterspell is confirmed for this set, so it is finally going to be legal in Modern. And that's a pretty sweet alternative art version on the right. And also for you Commander players out there, as well as I guess Legacy, Vintage, and Modern, the fetch lands are coming back, well at least some of them. Arid Mesa, Marsh Flats, Misty Rainforest, Scalding Tarn, and Verdant Catacombs are back in Modern Horizons 2. And of course they've also got a borderless version and a new version in the old frame. And I expect these in particular are going to be a really hot commodity for a lot of players, though not budget players like me. Regardless, let's move on to the other summer set with Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. This set is going to be replacing the core set for the year, so it's going to be really interesting to see what types of cards we see in it. First up, let's jump into the schedule for this set. On June 29th is when the preview season is going to begin. On July 8th, it's going to be available on MTG Arena and on Magic Online. July 16th through 18th will be a webcam pre-release playthrough Spell Table Beta. On July 16th through the 22nd is going to be pre-release week, including in-store play where it's available. And again on July 23rd is going to be the worldwide release. So hopefully by the time that the end of June comes around, I'm caught up on sleep from the last spoiler season. But again, for someone who enjoys talking about Magic cards and spoilers as much as I do, it's like back-to-back holidays, so I'm sure I'll be fine. And I'll make sure I'm stocked up on coffee by then. Regardless, again, for exciting spoilers that we've seen from this set, of course I've already mentioned Tiamat. Tiamat is a big baddie in the D&D universe, and she definitely does not disappoint as a legendary creature. And also from the D&D universe, we got Vorpal Sword. This sword can be a one-shot kill in the D&D universe, and now it is in Magic as well. Now, in terms of another exciting spoiler, we have seen these unfinished images as well. In the D&D universe, this thing is what's known as a beholder, and believe me, it is not fun to try and deal with. Regardless, although we were shown these images, the text was left off purposefully. So on the left, you can clearly see that this is going to be a black creature, but we don't know if it's going to be legendary or not, or if it's going to be rare or mythic rare or whatnot. And then on the right, we've got an alternative art version, which is really sweet as well. Now, I personally am hoping that this thing is going to be legendary, but who knows? Regardless, there are a lot of exciting things coming up this summer, and I cannot wait for these spoiler seasons. So again, make sure you're staying tuned to this channel for the latest Magic news and exciting spoilers from Modern Horizons 2 and D&D Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. And with that, the show is coming to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So the comments below, let me know your thoughts on this episode are, and as always, thanks again and have a good one.